disappointed because I thought today was Friday. Thankfully, Bree reminded me that it was Thursday when I told her, oh, your project's due today. She's like, Mom, it's not due till Friday. I'm like, well, yeah, duh. And she's like, hello, today's Thursday. So anyhow, thought this was going to be my Friday thought for the day, but instead, adjusted a little bit. It's my Thursday thought for the day. And Brent, if you're watching, I took your hairdressing advice. Fixed it. And that's going to last about 30 seconds until I do that, which I do a million times a day. Okay, back to the thought for the day. We've been studying in my theology class a lot of different things about Christian worldview and how that in the Christian worldview, you know, obviously God is the center of everything that you do. Like, imagine like an air traffic controller. You know, they've got all these planes circling around and it's their job to make sure that nobody crashes, right? They tell you when to take off, when to land, when it's safe to come here and go there, and they keep everything flowing smoothly. And when you put God in the center of your life, that's when your life flows smoothly. That's when all the things that are coming at you are able to be controlled. When you don't have God in the center of your life, when you're the one trying to be the center of your life, instead of trying to control everything, you have crashes. You know, things happen and you crash and burn. And one of the discussion questions I had to answer was to give some kind of analogy. So, you know me, I'm always trying to come up with these cool analogies. I don't know why. I think it's just in my blood. My grandmother did it. My father did it. I think I just can't help it. But I had this, you know, not really a vision, but a thought in my head of like just taking a piece of clay and just a raw piece of clay. So you've got God directing your life in the center of your life, and I'm just picturing him with this beautiful pottery wheel, just this one person gently shaping, molding your life, making it something beautiful, just a total work of art. And then you've got the other piece of clay, and it's sitting there on the table, and no one's molding it and shaping it, but everybody that walks by sees it and they go, oh look, it's a lump of clay. And they poke it, or somebody might mash it, or just push down on it a little bit here, and shape it a little bit here. And next thing you know, what do you have? You have this big, ugly mess with holes in it, all misshapen, and it's ugly. And when God's not the center of your life, that means that everything else that comes along has some type of influence on your life. Everybody that you meet, every situation that you're in, influences your life. And that's not always bad. There are some good things out there, but there's bad things out there too. And Tuna is crying again. He wants to go outside. And so that's the whole focus of this little analogy, is that when you're constantly allowing other things in your life to influence what you're doing and poke and push and prod and shape, then you're not forming into the beautiful piece of art that God can form you into. With that being said, I want to read you a short little story from the Bible. This is in Matthew 23:37. No, it is not. Why did I write down 37? Oh, it's 22:37. See, it should be Friday. It really should be Friday. I've had a long week. Okay. Anyhow, I apologize. Take two. It's in Matthew 22:37. In this, the Pharisees and all the religious leaders, you know, they're trying to trick Jesus. Jesus is talking, he's teaching, and they're trying to trick him and try to get him to say something wrong. And so they're like, will get him with this, and they ask him, so what are the most important commandments? You know, and they think that, obviously all the commandments are important, so they think they're going to trip him up. And Jesus replied, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these two commandments. Well, you think, how can that be? How is that not as important as the other commandments? Because what he's talking about is when you love God with all your heart and all your soul, that means he's at the center of your life. And when he's at the center, when he's controlling everything else that's going on around you, then it all comes together. All the other commandments that come after that, if God's controlling your words, your actions, and your thoughts, then there's no way that you're going to disobey any of the other commandments. When you love him and love your neighbor, everything else falls into place. So even though all the commandments are important, if you understand the basics of having God at the center of your life, then he directs all your decisions and all your actions, and you know you're not going to mess up. If God's directing traffic, you're not going to crash. And that's what it's all about, and that's what he meant by that. So you can't trip up Jesus. You can't mess him up. You can't make him make a mistake. So our thought for today is make sure God's at the center of your life, and make sure he's the one shaping you and directing you. And our scripture for the day is going to be Matthew 22:37. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. So long for your thought for today. Bye.